Hey guys, Bart from PABrewNews out here in the woods, just enjoying the last moments of, I don't know, daylight. Going into the darkness. There's a cat there that's going to bother me because if one animal doesn't bother me, another animal bothers me. So anyway, approaching dusk, twilight time, we have something from the Midnight Sun Brewing Company. Their Barfly Imperial Smoked Stout. This is an ale brewed with smoked malt, molasses, brown sugar, and aged in oak bourbon barrels, Alaska's most vaunted. There we go. Yep, looking forward to this. Picked this up in Washington, went up in Paulsville, Washington, at the Marina Market. And this comes in 11.6 alcohol by volume. It's up here. It's up there. Okay. Get the axe. I'm gonna axe it up. Ask me some questions. Here we go. There's a cat that better not knock my glass over, or I will get very angry. Wow, that is dark. Ruby hues. I can even see a faint hint of a ruby hue through the pour itself, but as a as a collective, it is very dark with a very, very dark dark. Oh, mocha. I mean, that's cocoa, cacao. Very, very dark head on this one. Actually, very nice indeed. Aroma time on this beautiful beer. There's a bright note to this one. I know it's a little air moving through and stuff like that, but bright hints of a almost like a white. It's definitely different. It's not as rich and dark as I thought it would be right off the. You get the peppery caramel bourbon. You get a rounded sense of almost a softest hint of a cherry, sweet cherry, and the raisins coming through. Then you get the baker's chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolates coming through. And I think the bright spot is a lot of that smoke is coming through, and it's making it very bright, actually. Instead of darkening it down, it's actually brightening. It's like, whew, coming at you pretty intense. So let's get into it. Cheers. One more. Okay. It's a bit thin. It is. It's a bit thin overall. There's a little viscous mouthfeel that hangs on for a little bit, but the body of the beer is the high side of a medium to the low side of a full mouthfeel. Kind of tapers down a little bit towards the end, towards that. But there are some nice little lingering characteristics and flavors and nuances that stick on. Definitely get that peppery bourbon. Definitely get that soft hint of a milk chocolate, dark chocolate, baker's chocolate, roasty toasty. You get some nice coffee flavors coming through there. Hints of raisins throughout the whole thing. I think a lot of that soft hint of a fruit and raisin mixing with that peppery bourbon, definitely coming from the molasses and coming from that big ABV, 11.6. That ethanol alcohol definitely bringing some dark fruits with it as well. Very clingy, sticky to the glass though, very darkening the size of this glass. So it does have a good clingy, sticky residual quality to it. Is there a Sasquatch back there at all? We're looking. We're looking. Yeah, there's the softest hint of a carbonation. Very soft, very subtle. The body's not stagnant, but it is on the really, really super low side of the carbonation. Extremely easy to drink. Extremely easy to drink. The smoke, there's wafting hints of smoke coming through this, but it's not overly tannic at all. Not overly bitter at all. Not even, if you talk, the more and more you talk, it starts to encroach on you a little bit. You start to notice a little bit of a drying aspect, a little tannic aspect. But overall, a lot of smoked beers, especially ones that are overdone or done wrong, or I mean basically ashtrays, you know what I mean, in the back of the palate. But this being on the oak and using the smoke malts, I just want to murder you. You don't get a very drying char back, which is really interesting. Very interesting. I love a good char. I like a good roasty kind of a char. That's why I like Yetis and stuff so much. This has hints of that, but it's actually not. Very simple, very nice. I'm not getting the honey cured ham kind of characteristics, so I don't know what kind of smoked malts they used. I doubt it was more. Anyway, I'm not getting the traditional beechwood smoked maple bacon honey cured ham kind of notes. I'm not getting that out of this right now. I am getting a lot of lovely caramel though. Caramel and some of that smoked malt could be giving a little bit of a caramel too. Some of that smoke, but definitely got a nice tannic note that is not overdone at all. It's very smooth. Everything about this beer is a culmination of very well mixed ingredients, very subtle, very smooth, very delectably drinkable at 11.6 alcohol by volume. It could be a bit more, I think, personally. As far as Imperial Stouts go, smoked Imperial Stouts, you get that wafting smoke in the back when you breathe. That's nice. I could use bigger bourbon. I could use bigger chocolates, bigger coffees, bigger this, bigger. I mean, it's a very subtle beer. It's a nuancey beer. I thought it would be a little bit more bombastic, even if they were only like rush hour. It might not be, you know, malt. You know, this has. What am I trying to say? I didn't know if it was going to be like a 3-hit wonder, boom, 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 and that's all you get, but they're huge. Sometimes you get beers like that. This one's more like you have a plethora of different things happening, but they're all subtle, they're smooth, they're collected, you know. I definitely see this one. I don't generally do this, but I could definitely see this one being enjoyed with a cigar. I'm going to enjoy this one reading some H.P. Lovecraft here in a bit. So this, for me, very nice. Again, the smoke isn't that typical note that you hear when you hear smoked beer. This is more char, tannic, a little bit of hints of dryingness. You don't get any, you know, stuff like that. So be that as it may, it does hinder some of the other subtle flavors, the different chocolates and whatnot, etc., with that smoke. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'd like to go a little higher, but it's not really hitting all the marks for me. Especially the bourbon could be really kicked up, because by the end of the beer, the bourbon is kind of underneath everything. So it's always nice to have everything having its own little window of opportunity to play, but unfortunately the smoke does cover up a lot of different characteristics, and the smoke that I'm getting, the tannic smoke from the barrel and from the malts, they're not the typical smoke that I would, you know, I really go for. But it's very interesting. And if this was a super aged, I doubt this has a lot of age on it, but the more super aged this gets, the more raisins and stuff will start popping out, and those sweet cherries that are nuanced in there, mixing in with all that bourbon, would become something to really savor all day long. So 9 out of 10 for me for right now. And of course, if I ever see this one again, I'll definitely pick it up and age it for at least 150 years per mat. So this has been Paul from PABrewNews. Cheers. In the booth, baby. Got a pretty mouth, boy.